This man was a genius, but he was too unlucky. He spent all his savings on a drilling rig but couldn't strike oil no matter what. But on this day, while playing with his children, his son's words gave him a sudden realization. That's right, let professionals do professional things. Soon, Stephen hired an expert. After the expert's survey, they indeed discovered a large oil field. The whole family was thrilled to hear this news. This time, he really struck it rich. The oil reserves the expert had detected for him were a whopping 50 million barrels, and he could sell $1,000 worth a day. Although he was still far from his goal of becoming a billionaire, becoming a multi-millionaire was more than enough. At this point, the envious former farm owner tried to take advantage of the situation and wanted a piece of the action. He directly sued Stephen in court. But Stephen, remembering that professionals should do professional things, hired the best black lawyer. With just a few words, the lawyer resolved the issue. Seeing how capable the black lawyer was, Stephen decided to bring him into the partnership. After that, they extracted more and more oil and expanded their business. Over the years, Stephen had put all his focus on work, causing his children to grow up into spoiled brats who only knew how to ask for money and couldn't do anything useful. However, Stephen didn't care about this. Now, the only things he cared about every day were acquiring more farms and developing more oil. But this time, he finally hit a wall. The other party refused to sign the contract no matter what. Stephen could only stay at the hotel and wait it out with them. The only person by his side was the black lawyer. On Christmas Eve, the black lawyer couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to go home and reunite with his family. Stephen let him go but persisted himself. Sure enough, he received the contract the next day. It turned out that the other party had been ready to transfer it to him for a long time. The reason they had dragged it out for so long was to see how sincere he truly was. Because of this acquisition, Stephen saw the headline in the newspaper about him becoming a billionaire. He had finally achieved the goal he set as a child. But looking around, there seemed to be no one to share this good news with. At this moment, he finally understood that wealth, after reaching a certain stage, was just a string of numbers. He had neglected his family for too long. On the other end of the phone, his wife brought news that Stephen's partner, the black lawyer, had been in a car accident on his way home. Both his kidneys were completely shattered. To save his old partner's life, Stephen decided to donate one of his own kidneys. After being discharged from the hospital, Stephen called a family meeting and announced that all his remaining assets would be used to establish a charitable foundation to help those in need. Then he gave each of his children $10,000 and told them to use the money to help others. This was clearly a test. But these children seemed to have already figured out how to spend this huge sum of money and had no intention of helping others. Only the second son returned the $10,000. He said he didn't like money and hoped to inject the $10,000 into the foundation. In the end, the second son became the foundation's successor.